1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi. Hey, they delayed the opening. Hey everybody, welcome back to another War of the Visions video. I'd like to start off this video by immediately alienating half of my viewers by saying that after the second raid, I am still really enjoying the War of the Visions raids. I honestly have been having a really great time. At first, there was some serious FOMO. I've been pretty busy with summer school, and I was thinking I'm not going to be able to do any of this raid at all, and that kind of helped me set my own expectations, and I set way more reasonable expectations. I decided to go for rainbow materials and just kind of leave it at that. And sure, the raid interface, it needs some work. We need to reduce the amount of clicks. We need some sort of raid stacking so you can just farm a bunch of instances at once instead of having to do one quest at a time, pop an instance and then do another quest, etc. But overall, I don't hate the system, and I'm fine with it as long as it's not happening every single week. I love testing out the units in solo and kind of building my party and trying to see how far I can push the raid each time. And this time I actually had a really fun time with the slashers because I had so many slashing units, and I had a really cool conversation with my brother Tom where he said, oh, did you know like Snipe Dagger is a slashing attack and it's got the dark element on I can't remember which unit he was using, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Ryu has that too. So I started stealing time and Snipe Daggering for max damage on the solo raid, and I was able to push my raid even higher, and I'm still working on it. I'm going to keep working on it until the maintenance tomorrow and see, you know, how many more rainbow materials I can buy. But I do want to acknowledge that I know multiplayer is a lot more stressful. There's so much more out of control. People are kind of, you know, they're a little iffy. But I did that whole thing last time too with Mediana and the whole chocolate flan. And at the end of the day, there were still the auto farm parties. There were still the cleanup parties. And I think that I'm still very happy with this content, especially when it doesn't come around that often. However, we have FF1 coming out just this week, and it seems like the raid's not coming out this first week, and there's some speculation that maybe we're going to get an EX quest instead of the raid. We are getting an EX quest, but in place of the raid, so that's news to me. We'll see what happens on the second week if it comes. The banner is only 2 weeks long, so that's has some implications for the actual pulling of wall, which I'm going to do a video on, and I'll tell you my plan then. But I thought we could, besides talking about the raid, we could take a look at some of this awesome news that we've got coming at us for this week. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at the news. I gotta go get my Chocobo expedition first because I have not played much today. It's been all marking for me. That's ridiculous. That's actually my 4th Venera shard of the day from the Magicite, from the expeditions. Insane. Okay, so we'll take a look at the notices here, just because there's a couple of really interesting stuff. We got maintenance tomorrow, so no guild battle, which is kind of a nice break. Sometimes it's constant, although it is one of the most fun parts of the game. They've announced the banner, and you can see that it's not going to run that long at all, but there's going to be a new expedition area in the Chocobo expeditions where you can get Warrior of Light stuff. He's going to have his own limited hard quest. He's going to have his your consumption bonus. So if you get him, there's going to be a lot of ways to get his shards, which is very nice. We already talked about him in another video, as well as Death Machine. So if you need an update on that, you have to go back to that video, sadly. But one thing to notice that I don't know if they say it here, it's absolutely heartbreaking. The free pulls are not going to have any of the limited unit or vision cards in them, so there goes my plan for how I'm going to pull wall, which is by accident on the free pulls. So I'm gonna have to come up with a new plan. I do have an idea of what I'm going to do, but I'll leave that for the pull video. So for the event quest, we're going to have the quests, we're going to have bingo board, all that kind of stuff. We talked about this a little bit, but it's cool to see it here, including the EX quest, which will actually give the Armor of Light, which I believe was the raid reward for the Japan version, which I think that's why people are saying that there might not be a raid, is because we're going to be able to get it from the EX quest, which is certainly a lot easier on people, and especially since we just had a raid, it does make sense. But I mean, a limited time raid is pretty exciting, and I wanted to hear some classic Final Fantasy music, which we still will, but I guess it's just going to be a different context than in the raid and multiplayer and stuff. We'll get some login bonuses, which is always solid. We should have a lot of Visio right now, if you're not being reckless with your spending, but maybe you are, and you're out of luck. And then there's going to be the challenge missions. So there'll be missions in the regular missions tab, and then there's also going to be the bingo prizes as well. And then here is the thing that I'm most excited for, which is the hard quest double drop, and I'm hoping that's got to include the shards, otherwise it's the dumbest promotion of all time. But there's also a 10% Visio back campaign, which is very nice for pulls, and we're going to have to do a little bit of math. So there you go, that's why you need to learn math in school, says the teacher. But Mont is very excited about the discount. So otherwise in the news, they did this episode of the War of the Visions updates with the global producer and the new community manager, who seemed a bit nervous, but I think he's doing a good job so far, so it's exciting to see that they're going to do this type of thing. It's definitely something I'm interested in watching, so that's very cool, and congratulations to them. So really, it's everything we thought was coming, and maybe the raid's a little bit different, but Wednesday is going to be a very, very exciting day, and I need to find time to somehow make a video, but also do my report cards for summer school at the exact same time. And then if you're curious about my raid, because I'm so lax about it, you're going to be like, well, I mean, what are you even at? So I have got my raid. Oh, it just expired. It's at like level 60, and I think I can get up to maybe 70 tomorrow. I'm really not stressing over it, but I could go higher in solo for sure if I had more time to play, but I'm really taking out of it what I want, which is these rainbow fragments, and then the enjoyment of the team building and trying to get my damage up by trying out different compositions. So I hope that helps you with your mindset as well, if that's something that is if the raids are bugging you. But otherwise, we're gonna take off for the night, and we'll see you on Wednesday for some FF1 collab action. Until next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can show your support with a like and subscribe, and by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/MassidiaGaming. Until next time, keep it real, Massidians.